It is November 19th at 1:14 a.m. Um, and I am here to update 11 weeks after last video that I've resigned. I dropped out of all my classes at my community college. Um, and I wanted to briefly discuss how I've been, what led me to that decision, and where I'm gonna go from now. Um, I never continued the artist way. I just got finished watching that last video. Um, and I never ended up taking the bus. I should have taken the bus, but I didn't take the bus. Um, yeah, so last video I described how I quit my job and I came back from LA and I was realizing these emotions that were bubbling up and things that I just had been avoiding. And long story long, I've been in therapy for some time. Probably like I've had maybe like 12 appointments since that last video, and I've learned that during that period, was not okay, and I was dealing with disordered eating, um, which I have like a bit of a history of, but I was unintentionally dealing with disordered eating, um, and that was making me feel really bad because I was hungry all the time, and um, yeah, and so that came up, and since then I had just been like figuring out like what am I doing, where am I at. Initially, I remember I would, yeah, just watching that video, I was really ambitious and hopeful with starting school. I think this was like the intention was like expressing that, I'm not doing good, but there's an opportunity ahead of me, and so I'm excited for that door of opportunity. And it is sad because that door is closed. And I was excited, and I'll talk about it. Like, one of the things I was initially trying to do, like, I was taking 5 classes, and one of the things I initially was trying to do was start a club. And this is something I've always wanted to do, and it was I mean, it's something that I'm still somewhat in communication with, but it just didn't happen. And I was doing it for like weeks. And yeah, and initially school was going good. I did want to move out. It's hard. Like, I, from coming home from Los Angeles, I was thinking a lot about a job and moving out, and that's something that I was like, I gotta do that, like, fast. Um, and then I had like a trip to Hawaii in the beginning of September or like middle of September, and I came back from it behind in my classes. Um, I started with 5 and I dropped ceramics, and so I had 4. And I was still kind of figuring out like what's going on with me mentally, right? Like, I was having all these intense emotions that were manifesting in my everyday life. Like, I would go into public and I'd feel like breaking down. This like constant feeling of like needing to break down would surface. Um, and I came back and I tried to get caught up. And it was this kind of like rocky thing of like, why did I book a fucking like week trip? And I ended up getting really behind in one of my classes, and other classes I just remember feeling like just stumbling of like, oh, I've already just been dealing with a lot mentally, and I was able to get caught up, but it was just hard, and it was like, I don't know, everything just started to feel like stressful and overwhelming. Um, what else? And my focus went from hope and drive and like an open door to now was anxiety and but also focusing on my mental health, right? So it's like anxiety with school and anxiety of like, I have no friends here. Like, I don't have any friends. Like, I wanted to make friends this semester. I have no fucking friends. Um, I never felt like I fully like got a good grip of like the routine and the structure. I felt like I was always behind. I was comparing myself. I felt like it was like it just was like a feeling of like this is such an important um like thing like for me, like I just felt like this was like of high importance and I was fucking it up. And like things weren't, yeah. Um and so but also like with that I was also figuring out my mental health, and at this time I was kind of like, okay, I need to eat more. Like I need to take my therapy seriously because I had just been like very depressed all summer. Um and I need to like deal with that, you know, like I can't run from my emotions. Um And so I'm gonna try to summarize this. I don't want to get too redundant and too like depressing, I guess, and too like emotional. But I started skipping classes, came back, I explained myself to my professors, and then I got sick with laryngitis, and so I skipped another week. Um, that time being sick gave me a lot of time to reflect, and today, well, yesterday at 3 a.m., I started thinking about, I was just like, this is miserable. I'm doing this thing that I've done before with community college where I will like for a bit skip and drag myself down, and at the last um create a pity story, which at times is true. Like I am struggling mentally, but I'd create a pity story and I would then like get all my work done, but I would feel like it was always rushed and I wouldn't be proud of it. Um and so I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? Like I don't think I have like a very conclusive idea of what do I want to do? And like, right, what do I want to do? Like what career path do I really want to do? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to live? What does my life want to be like look like? Um and what do I need to do to get there? Like how do I not feel bad? Like I don't want to wake up and my body's like in pain and I have nausea and I feel lonely and I like, like all these things I've just been like pretending are happening. And I just don't want like these cycles of to continue. And so I just made the maybe silly decision to drop my classes and withdraw from community college. And so today was the last day to drop, and I just started thinking about it yesterday, so it kind of worked out. But um, now I'm faced with that question of like, what do I want? How do I like? What do I need to do to get there? How do I get there? And so my mental health recently hasn't been the best. Like, it's kind of sloped into depressive where the times changed. Um, like I'm trying to eat more, but my sleep schedule, like I have like insomnia sometimes, I think because of the depression. And so I've been going to bed at like 4:30 and waking up at like 11:30, and that's been terrible because the sun will go down at 4. But that's where I'm at. And I'm trying to like, you know, sometimes my brain will like think of like, man, I can't get any worse than this. Like it will start to feel pessimistic and like nihilistic, of like I'm 22, living at home, no job, no school, like, you know, and it honestly it is bad. Like it is bad. But I'm not gonna just like sit here in like my depressive rut. I really do think that like I have hope. I still do have hope, and like maybe knock on wood, but maybe it is like another like the last video where I was like, well, things aren't good right now, but like I'm so hopeful for like the doors that will open and like the hallways that I will enter. And I still do feel like that. Um, yeah, I still do have hope. Like I think that maybe closing one door will open so many others, and that I do want to get. I just want to have a time to step back and really think about like what do I want to do with this degree? Where do I want to go? Because it does matter. Like I don't want to bury myself in debt and then graduate with a degree that like gets me no job. That is something that I have to consider, and I really have to consider. Like also, I don't have like I just I don't have like the best job experience. And so I just think I need to get a job right now, move and figure out those questions. And I truly do believe in myself. I really do. Um, so yeah, I'm making a wax ring out of wax of an unfinished project. Want to see? So it was gonna be a aluminum scapula. It was gonna be two aluminum scapula. This is unfinished, clearly, and they were gonna hang on a fishing line, and they were gonna hang across a wooden trophy display of a power line, of like a wooden power line, and it would have been called scapula hanging. And I still want to do it. I still want to do it, and I've been thinking about like how I'm gonna do it. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I really do pray that things will get better. I really do pray that things will get better. I've been I'm gonna hurry this up, but I've just been thinking more like I've been thinking about self-discipline, what that looks like for me and what that means. Um and I did like an exercise where I thought about like if I just were to stay the same, if I were just to stay the same, and all like my good and my bad, like everything I hate about myself, all this pain, all this shit that like isn't changing, if I were to just like let that be, where would my life go? And thinking about that really woke me up, and I'm trying to try harder. I got an analog notebook, a mini one where I'm jotting down to-do lists, and a bigger notebook where I'm doing like habit trackers. There's like wax on my hands, but like monthly goals and habit trackers, like daily habit trackers. Um, I'll show a page, but I'm trying. I'm trying to do yoga and meditation every day. I'm trying to be on my phone less, and I'm trying to engage with like books and like learning more because I do care about those things. And like I've really realized that of like, wow, I do, like that is I do care about education, and I do care about art, and I do care about like critical thinking and like deep thought and engaging with deep thought and like engaging with new things, and like learning is something that I've always liked and like cared for, and I've just kind of like dropped the ball on it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to be optimistic, even though it does seem like a pretty shit situation. But yeah, I'm gonna try hard. I really am gonna try hard, and I want to make maybe more like frequent videos of just any updates, like job hunting, art. Um, yeah,